ሄሎ እንዴት ናችሁ? እንግዲህ ዛሬ ያው መጀመሪያውን ራውንድ ሞዴል ኤግዛም እስቲ አብረን እንድናየው ነው የመጣሁት። በሁለት ሴክሽን አዘጋጅቼዋለሁ፣ ፓርት 1 ፓርት 2 እና ሞዴል ኤግዛም። በዚህ አጋጣሚ እንግዲህ ጥያቄ ወረቀቱ እናንተ ጋር አለ። ጥያቄ ወረቀቱ ላይ እያያችሁ ውጤታችሁን ከመቶ ምን ያህል እንዳገኛችሁ ማወቅ ትችላላችሁ። ፕሊዝ ፎሎ ሚ እና የመጀመሪያዎቹ 51 ጥያቄዎች በመጀመሪያው ፓርት አለ። ፓርት 1 ፕሊዝ አይ አም ወርኪንግ ኦን ባዮሎጂ ፈርስት ራውንድ ሞዴል ኤግዛሚኔሽን ፎር ግሬድ 12። ይሄ ከጂማ የመጣው ፈተና ነው። እኔ ኢቫሉዌት ሳደርገው እንግዲህ ያው በእናንተ ፉት ስቴፕ ነው ኢቫሉዌት የማደርገው። በጣም ኢዚ ነው። በጣም ዲፊካልቲ ሌቨሉ በጣም የወረደ ነው ሁኔታ የብኝ። ፕሊዝ ኤኒዌይ እንየው እስቲ ብሪፍ discussion. The first question: a biologist wants to investigate the role of growth hormones in human babies. Two groups of babies are established. One receives the injection of the growth hormone in oil. The other groups just receive an injection of oil. The group receiving an injection of growth hormone in oil is called experiment Sarangdi. ኤክስፐሪመንታል ግሩፕ የሚባል አለ። እዚህ ጋር ዳይሬክትሊ ሪፈር የሚያደርገው ኤክስፐሪመንታል ግሩፕ ነው። የሆርሞን ኢፌክት ለማየት ሆርሞን ሪሲቭ ያደረጉት ህጻናት ኤክስፐሪመንታል ግሩፕ ነው የሚባለው። ዲ አንሰር ኢዝ ኤ ኤክስፐሪመንታል ግሩፕ። ኤ ያላችሁ መልሱን አግኝታችሁታል ማለት ነው። ሁለተኛው ጥያቄ which one of the following is not a promise of biological science in Ethiopia? Of course ይሄ በጣም ሰልፍ አንሰሪንግ ኩዌስችን ነው። ባለንበት ታይም አሁን ይሄ ሌሎች ዓለሞችም ማይክሮ ኦርጋኒዝሞችን ለዊፐር ማዋል ፕሮሚስ አይደለም፣ በፍጹም ለኢትዮጵያ አይደለም፣ ሌሎች ዲቨሎፕድ ካንትሪስ destructive purpose ስላለው ማለት ነው። bio weapons. Question number 3: how many hydrogen atoms are contained in 2 moles of maltose ይላል። እንግዲህ ማልቶስ ከምን ነው የሚሰራው? ማልቶስ ከሁለት ግሉኮሶች ነው። ሁለት ግሉኮሶች ሲገናኙ just when 2 glucose molecules are joined through glycosidic alpha glycosidic bond water remove ይሆናል። water and OH እና አንድ ኤች ማለት ሁለት ኤች ይወጣል። ሁለት ግሉኮሶች ሲገናኙ ሁለት ሃይድሮጅን ይወጣል። ስለዚህ አንድ ማልቶስ ማለት ከ24 ሁለት ሲንቀንስ 22 ነው። ሁለት ማልቶሶች 44 ነው። the answer is 44 hydrogen atoms because when 2 glucose molecules join through dehydration synthesis H2O is removed. H2O, that means it contains 2 hydrogen. Therefore you subtract the total number of hydrogen from 2 glucose, that is 1 glucose contains 12, the other contains 12 plus 12 24, subtract 2 from 24 22. Therefore maltose contains 22 hydrogen atoms. 2 maltose molecules means 2 times 22 44. Question number 4: among the following biomolecules found in cells, which one represents DNA and RNA? Very simple, nucleic acid no also. This is the answer. Question number 5: in which of their structural parts do different molecules of amino acid differ from one another? Of course, amino acids differ in their R group, side chain. Question number 6: suppose the amino acid coding region in messenger RNA is 1200 nucleotides long. How long is the protein in terms of amino acid number? If they are all coding for proteins, of course, አንድ የፕሮቲን የአንድ አሚኖ አሲድ ኮድ በ3 ትሪፕሌት ኮድ ነው። ስለዚህ 1200ን ለ3 ብናካፍለው ስንት ትሪፕሌቶች አሉ? 400 ነው። አንሰሩ 400 ነው። the answer is this one. And question number 7, how many peptide bonds will be formed from condensation of 10 amino acids? You see, 10 amino acids. When 2 amino acids join, 1 peptide bond. 3 amino acids give 2 peptide bond. 4 amino acids give 3 peptide. Therefore, it is minus 1. Number of amino acids minus 1 gives the number of peptide bonds. In this case, 10. 10 minus 1, it's 9. 9 peptide bonds are used to join 10 amino acids. That is exactly the answer. And question number 8, what do we call the learned behavior if a mouse that had just escaped from the mouth of a cat jumped violently at a slight touch by a trivial object? Of course, it is sensitization. In this case, sensitization, one simple form of learning, sensitization. Question number 9, baby ostriches tend to follow the first moving object that they see as they hatch out of the eggs. What kind of animal behavior does this demonstrate? Perfectly, it is imprinting. Imprinting. The answer is imprinting. When newly hatched chicks learn to follow any object moving. Question number 10. Suppose when you first enter a room, you notice an unpleasant smell, which you eventually forget about its presence. What is this behavior called? Habituation, of course. It is habituation, the simplest form of learning. Habituation. Question number 11. A Grda is swimming towards the area of increased light intensity. This type of response is referred to as, it is positive taxis, positive taxis, positive taxis. And number 12, what is the correct equation for cellular respiration? Of course, cellular respiration is very simple, you see. 6 oxygen molecules with 1 mole of glucose gives carbon dioxide and water plus energy in the form of ATP. The answer is any layman can answer this, of course. C. Question number 13. The pea plant phenotypic ratio F1 resulting from the cross between round yellow genotype and that of wrinkled green genotype under a condition of complete dominance. Assume the total number of pea plants in the F2 generation are 48,000. What is the number of round yellow pea plants? Just remember, whenever you are talking about this Gregor Mendel's hybrid cross, just remember the F2 ratio 9331. Here, what is asked? What is the number of round yellow? Round yellow. That means round, between round and yellow. That means both dominant characters. These are represented by the 9 in this 9331 ratio. 9, the number 9. Out of 16, 9 are with dominant, both dominant character, round and yellow. Therefore, take the proportion of 9 over 16 times 48,000. 9 over 16 times 48,000 means, this means by 16, 3, by 16, 1. 9 times 3, 27,000. 27,000. Therefore, the answer you take 9 over 16 of 48,000 because the pea plants that show both dominant character are represented by the number 9 in the 9331 ratio. You know this. Question number 14. An enzyme is given by enzyme commission number EC31241. Then which one of the following is a function of this enzyme? Of course, see the first number. The first number is the class number. Class number. Therefore, the class number is 3. They are hydrolases. Therefore, they catalyze hydrolysis of various bonds. Hydrolysis of various bonds. They are hydrolysis. Question number 15. Which type of enzyme inhibition can be reversed by increasing substrate concentration? Of course, competitive inhibitors. Competitive inhibitors, the effect of competitive inhibitors can be decreased or prevented by increasing the substrate concentration. Number 16, the lock and key model of enzyme action illustrates that a particular enzyme molecule forms permanent enzyme substrate complex, may be destroyed and resynthesized several times, and interacts with a specific type of substrate molecule, allows the binding of substrate, whatever its shape. The lock and key. The answer is C. Specificity is because of active site. The lock and key model interacts with a specific type of substrate molecule. This is true. Question number 17. The kinetic effect of purely competitive inhibitor of an enzyme. Purely competitive inhibitor of an enzyme do not change the Vmax, but increase the Km. The answer is increase Km without affecting Vmax. There, competitive inhibitors do this. Question number 18. During malting, what is the first step after soaking the grains in water, which involves the process of reading the grains and bringing it to life with water and oxygen by immersing it in the water and air for a specified time period? When I read this question, I can't catch I can't catch fully the question. There is ambiguity in the question itself, and just from common sense, from this given germination, drying, kilning, steeping, I chose germination, of course. During malting, what is the first step after soaking the grains in water, which involves the process of cleaning the grain and bringing it to life with water and oxygen? Of course, it's germination. But the answer given to this question, when the question is dispatched to sent to the center, the SOS, the teacher over there, Jim, gave this as an answer, D as an answer. I don't agree with this question. Just as far as my understanding is concerned, of course, it has some sort of confusion. For me, the better answer is germination, of course. Question number 19. Which one of the following statements is true about gram-positive bacteria? Gram-positive bacteria have thick peptidoglycan in their cell. Well, this is the answer, of course. Therefore, and just take up the primary state, purple. 20. Farmer's lung, which results in an allergy in the lung, is caused by, of course, it's fungus. It's fungal infection. During DNA replication, the two strands of the DNA helix are separated by enzyme. Of course, it is helicase. Helicase splits the hydrogen bond between complementary base pairs and unzips DNA. During which phase of meiosis does crossing over occur? Crossing over occurs during prophase 1, where chromosomes break parts of their lower arms and exchange to increase. What is the purpose of crossing over? To increase genetic diversity. Which of the following comparison between mitosis and meiosis is correct? Mitosis takes place in germ cell. Meiosis takes place in somatic cell. False. B. Mitosis, it produces two diploid cells. Meiosis produces 4 haploid cells. Of course, you should not go to anywhere else unless the question is mistaken. C. It is used to produce gamete. It is used for body growth and repair. D, it is reduction division. It is equational division reversed. Therefore, the answer is B, the correct answer, correct comparison. 24. A codon on messenger RNA is 5' CGA 3'. What is a complementary anticodon on transfer RNA? Therefore, reverse the direction. That is 3'. 3'. G C U. 3' G C U. This is the answer. Question number 25. Which of the following joints is an example of a saddle joint? Saddle joint, I think it is the knee joint. The knee joint. Question number 26. How many bones are in the adult human appendicular skeleton? That is 126, I think, because the appendicular means appendicular, your arms, your legs, all those small bones in metatarsal, tarsals, phalanges, all 126. And in adults, the axial skeleton constitutes 80 bones. 80 plus 126, it is 206, the total number of bones in the adult human body. 27. Which of the following plant divisions contains seedless and non-vascular plants? Of course, Bryophyta is the answer. Question number 28. Which molecule in our body have function as antigen and antibody of immune system? Antigen and antibody of immune system. Of course, they are proteins. Proteins. Question number 29. Which rows contain the corresponding organic and inorganic molecules? It says organic, inorganic. Now, you can have lysine, sucrose, salts, otherwise this organic, correct. Deoxyribose, carbon monoxide, no, this is not organic, false. Fatty acid, methane, organic, correct. Sodium hydroxide and carbonate, inorganic, correct. Water, no, water is not organic, therefore 1 and 3. The answer is 1 and 3. Which choice? 1 and 3, 1 and 3. D is the answer, of course. Question number 30. In an HIV/AIDS community screening, students were asked to take part in voluntary testing. The following discussions represent the views of four grade 12 students named A, B, C, and D towards HIV testing. Student 1 said, I should not take the testing. It is simply boring. Student B, we should take the testing. Since we are educated, we should be exemplary. C, if we get tested and got positive, what should we do? So let us not get tested. D, this HIV/AIDS testing is simply a business. We should not be cheated, they say. The answer is, the question is, which student do you think is correct? It says, of course, student B is correct, I think, because he said, we should take the testing. Since we are educated, we should be exemplary as far as normal thought. Therefore, the answer is student B. Which of the following is natural contraceptive method? Natural contraceptive method. Natural. Hormone pills. That is withdrawal or coitus interruptus. They also call withdrawal method. Of course, is not reliable. It's not highly reliable. Question number 32. What is the first phase of HIV infection? It says, of course, acute phase, or you may call it asymptomatic phase. I think there is some confusion. The given answer is chronic phase here. The answer sent with the question is chronic. No, I don't agree. And acute phase, if you go search for this, which of the following practices can help conserve biodiversity? And it is afforestation. Exactly, very elementary question. And question number 34, which of the following is a density-dependent factor that affects population? Of course, it is disease. Disease is density-dependent factor because its effect increases as population size increases. Which of the following is not a demographic factor that affects population size? Demographic factor. Birth rate, death rate, of course, this is not demographic factor here. Migration, death rate, birth rate are all demographic factors that affect population size. Question number 36. Which phase of population growth is characterized by attaining carrying capacity? That is stationary phase. Stationary phase, where the graph becomes horizontal. And question number 37. Which of the following is a renewable natural resource? Renewable natural resource. Of course, here it is vegetation. Question number 38. In Pavlov's classical conditioning experiment, what was the conditional stimulus? The conditioned stimulus. That is the sound of the bell. Of course, sound of the bell is conditioned here. Question number 39. What are the 4 stages of complete metamorphosis? Very simple. Egg, larva, pupa, and adult. The answer is this one. Question number 40. Which of the following is an example of non-infectious disease? Of course, this is due to deficiency of nutrition, rickets, deficiency of vitamin D. This is not infectious, otherwise infectious. Which of the following marriage can cause a problem on offspring? When the mother is Rh minus and the man is Rh plus, so that the baby becomes Rh plus. That is woman, Rh minus woman, Rh minus woman, Rh plus man. This is the answer. Question number 42. Which of the following correctly represents the flow of energy in a food chain? That means flow, therefore, from producers to primary consumers, secondary consumers. The answer is very simple. Which of the following blood components is most often used for patients with clotting disorders? These are, of course, platelets. And what is the primary function of heart valves? They are used to prevent backflow of blood, allowing flow of blood in one direction only. Question number 45. What role do arteries play in the circulatory system? They transport blood away from the heart. Of course, arteries are blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart. This is the correct definition for all arteries. Question number 46. If a food chain has a primary producer that captures 1000 joules of energy, approximately how much energy is available to tertiary consumers in the food chain? Therefore, you have to make it just 10% of the energy just is used as biomass in each trophic level. 1000 producers in producers 1000. When the primary consumers feed on the producers, they reserve 10% and the other is used up. What is 10% of 1000? 10% of 1000, 10 over 100, it is 100. Then when this 100 passes to the secondary consumer, only 10%. 100 of 10% of 100 is 10. And when this 10 passes to the tertiary consumer, 1% of 10 is 10 times 10 over 100. That's 1. The answer is 1 joule of energy. Therefore, you have to know, you do this question just in each trophic level, 10% of the energy, the food consumed or the energy consumed is stored in each trophic level, whereas the 90% is used for various purposes, for respiration, eating, whatever it is. Therefore, the answer is for 1. 47. Which chamber of the heart receives deoxygenated blood from the body? That is the right atrium. Right atrium. Right atrium. Question number 48. Which taxonomic level is immediately above the class level? Remember, kindly, pay, cash, pay, P. Phylum. Phylum is immediately above the class. Question number 49. Biologists classify living things for the following reasons, except to identify relationship between organisms, yes. To simplify the study of biodiversity, yes. To understand how organisms are evolved, yes. To make biological studies more confusing. It's not a good distractor. Yeah, they call it in academics or in education. Such choices are not good distractor. They can be easily picked by students. Any lay student, any simple. I'm sorry, any student can answer them, such questions. Which part of the microscope controls the amount of light that reaches the specimen? That is diaphragm. And which branch of biology is concerned with the study of plants? That is botany. Botany. This is the first session. The first 51 questions are presented as part 1 of the first module for SOS Hermann Minor School, sent from Jimma. Thank you very much. I will come by the next, I think, 49 questions from 52 to 100. Thank you. Very easy, please. Thank you very much.